I mean, to us, this is just such a fascinating set of circumstances. Guten Yarning, everybody. Well, today I have something extra special to show you. In fact, it might be, well, one of the coolest things I've ever seen in the garden. But before I do that, I want to take a moment to say thank you so much for watching and ask you, if you enjoy this content or if you enjoy any of the content on our channel, to go ahead and give us a like. And then if you see something that's comment worthy during this time, leave us a comment as well. That really helps our channel grow with the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for doing that. Now, what I'm going to show you involves kohlrabi. And for those of you who have never grown kohlrabi or don't know what it is, there are typically two different colors of kohlrabi. We have our white kohlrabi, which has a green exterior and a white interior. And then we have a purple kohlrabi, which is also white inside but has a really beautiful purple flesh outside. Now, last year was the first year that we attempted to grow kohlrabi. We found some really nice success with it, and we've grown way more this year than we've ever done in the past. This kohlrabi is a vegetable that is great in so many different ways. It's really one of those vegetables that you can use raw, you can use baked in the oven, you can use it roasted. There's just a ton of different versatile recipes for kohlrabi. In terms of taste, it's quite similar to a mild broccoli or a broccoli stem, and it's one of my favorite vegetables overall to grow. One of the things we've found with broccoli is that it can be a little bit of a challenge to get a nice head on that broccoli, but with the kohlrabi we've found some really nice success. In fact, we have something that we're going to share with you at the end of this season that's really special, so you got to stay tuned for that. Now, last year we decided to bring a couple of our kohlrabi plants inside. So these are kohlrabi that we were growing in the ground that we pulled up. We knew they weren't going to really bulb up because we had planted them a little bit too late in the fall. We pulled them up and we put them into containers and we overwintered them. Now, our expectation with this kohlrabi is really quite simple because it is a biennial plant, which means, like most of our other brassicas, we should get seeds from this in the second year. And that's actually exactly what happened with these plants. Over the winter indoors, they went to seed. We started seeing a lot of those seed pods develop on them, and we thought, well, this is the end of the plant. We're going to have to pull them up. And that is when we discovered this. This is the purple kohlrabi that we overwintered, and I'm going to show you the white kohlrabi as well because we're seeing the same thing on both. Now, you can see some of these lower leaves have died back a little bit, and actually this is really a plant that if we tried to eat right now would taste, I would say, pretty much like wood. There's nothing about this base piece that is enticing at all, but that is not the part that we're interested in. You see, as we watch these stems develop, and this is where the leaves would have come out of the top. If you've ever seen these kohlrabi plants at the top, you know these leaves come out where there were seeds before, and where this stem was developing, we started to see baby kohlrabi coming in again. And let's take a look at this smaller one here because it's even better. As we move up the stem, we see the little mini kohlrabis here developing all over. And if we move all the way up to the top, we see another, and this is a nice size. This has got to be probably 1.5 to 2 inches in diameter. Another kohlrabi, a mature kohlrabi. So if we look at the top of this kohlrabi, you see this area right here where we'll still see some leaves coming out, and this is also where we often see that flowering, and I'll show you that in a second. That seems to be where this one is stemming from. That same center area coming up has now started to develop more kohlrabis. To say this was unexpected is an understatement. Again, all we thought we were going to get were seeds. Now I'm going to take a step back and look again at this other, the right hand side here, because you have to see just how expansive these are. Each of these little groupings here is its own baby kohlrabi that's basically mature, and it seems as though it's softer. It seems as though it is more tender, and it's something that we could harvest and eat. And then on top of that, we're seeing these going to seed again. So these kohlrabi, which would be our second generation of this same kohlrabi plant, are now going to seed as well. And in fact, you can see the seed pods on here as well. So inside here, would be the seeds that we'd be getting from these kohlrabi. Now the question becomes then, where would we see potentially additional kohlrabi developing from where these are going to seed? And if I look down at this one that's developed, I can start to see some of the answer, because as I move this away, I can see down in here little kohlrabi forming right off the side of these as well. So it almost seems to me like this kohlrabi plant is willing to spread out and continue to replicate itself and produce more of these purple kohlrabi. Now, one of the things that really interests me about this is that I don't really understand why we're getting those kohlrabi from the same second-year kohlrabi plant. It doesn't seem to me like that's how kohlrabi is supposed to work. And yet, this purple kohlrabi is actually not unique for the kohlrabi that we overwintered. In fact, we overwintered 2 early Vienna white kohlrabi. So these are a traditional white kohlrabi, and very similarly, if we were to try to eat the kohlrabi down here, I don't even know if we could get a knife to go through it. But we're getting basically the same thing. Here we have dried up seeds, so this went to seed over the winter time, and now right around the crown of this kohlrabi, we have 1, 2, and if I try to turn this around, you can see there's number 3. This one's actually the biggest one on this one. These kohlrabi are perfectly healthy. I mean, I want to harvest this one. I could harvest this one. It's about 3 inches in diameter. It's a really nice size. They're growing the whole way around the crown of this early Vienna kohlrabi. And our other kohlrabi is doing much the same. You can see these are fantastic kohlrabi. They're not at all woody. Some of them are smaller than others, but we're still getting some really nice size from the second year of growth. Again, what we expected to see, we did see. We saw it go to seed. We did not expect further development. And I don't know if, typically we would just pull it after it goes to seed and then we wouldn't give it time like this. So maybe that's why we don't see it. Maybe there's some other explanation. We would love to hear your thoughts on what's going on with these kohlrabi. Well, my hope with this kohlrabi is that we can figure out why it's happening this way and replicate this in the future. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward way, it would seem, to get additional kohlrabi from the same plant. Now, if you've seen this happen in your garden before to your kohlrabi, or if you have a theory as to why this is happening, we would love to hear about it and see what your thoughts are. So go ahead and leave us a comment. Don't forget to share and subscribe, and most importantly, remember, when you're with us, you are good to grow.